In the year 1615, when the world still believed in the geometry of honor, there existed a class of men who treated death as a form of poetry. They called themselves samurai. The word itself means those who serve, but what they served us was something far more severe than any lord. They served an idea. The idea that a single moment, a single perfect action, could justify an entire lifetime. The morning ritual begins before the sun. The body is purified, the mind emptied. In feudal Japan, water was not merely water. It carried the cold indifference of the universe, a reminder that comfort is temporary, but discipline is eternal. Before battle, there is tea. The ceremony takes 30 minutes, each gesture choreographed over centuries. This is not refreshment. This is meditation in motion. The bowl is lifted with both hands, the rim is rotated twice. The tea is consumed in exactly 3 sips. Nothing is arbitrary. Everything is intentional. The tea master speaks. Every moment contains eternity. This is not poetry. This is instruction. The armor is not worn. It is assembled. Each piece a collaboration between warrior and craftsman, between function and ceremony, iron and silk, leather and cotton. The materials themselves form a philosophy. The hard protects the soft, the flexible supports the rigid. The kusazuri, the thigh guards, hang like the petals of an iron flower. Each plate overlaps the next. Protection through multiplicity. The coat, the armoured sleeves, transform the arm into a weapon itself. Chainmail mixed with iron plates, medieval technology perfected. But it is the helmet, the kabuto, where the samurai's soul is most visible. Here, art and terror become inseparable. The mask serves 2 purposes: to terrify the enemy and to hide fear. For beneath that iron face there is still only human flesh. Some masks grin, others scream. This one seems to be asking a question with no comfortable answer. The horns are not decoration, they are identification markers. On a battlefield of identical armor, the horns say, "I am here, find me." The sword is not a weapon. This is the first misconception. The katana is a philosophical instrument. The forging takes 6 months, 10,000 folds of steel. Each hammer strike is a prayer, each tempering a test of faith. The swordsmith works blind, not literally, but spiritually. He cannot see the quality of the blade until the final polish. This is trust made tangible. 3 feet of folded steel, curved like a moment of hesitation, sharpened to an edge that exists, almost theoretically. An atom's width of intention. The curve is not aesthetic, it is mathematical. The exact angle required for the blade to cut while being drawn. Geometry as violence. To draw the sword incorrectly is to dishonor every swordsmith who contributed to its existence. The motion must be inevitable. The training begins at age 7. 10,000 draws, 10,000 cuts. The muscle memory must be deeper than thought. There is a sound to this, a sound that has ended lives, the whisper of steel leaving wood. Sayonara made audible. The scabbard is as important as the blade. Magnolia wood, chosen because it will not dull the edge. Even the container is part of the weapon. Outside, the world is preparing for war, but war to the samurai is merely the question. How they answer is the art. The castle town awakens, merchants arrange their goods, children chase each other through narrow streets, all of them unaware that history is about to arrive. A vegetable seller arranges radishes with the same care a samurai arranges his swords. In Japan, everything is ritual. Everything is respect. The geisha district is silent. Behind painted screens, women sleep who will perform tonight. If there is a tonight, if anyone returns. The air before battle has a texture. It is thick, humid, the smell of rain that has not yet fallen, mixed with horse sweat and the metallic tang of anxiety. The warhorse is not a pet. It is a partner in a dance where both participants understand the stakes are absolute. These horses are bred for centuries, selected for courage, not speed. A horse that runs from battle is worse than useless. The hooves are wrapped in rice straw, not for comfort, but for silence. The approach must be like fog, inevitable but soundless. The saddle is wood and leather, designed for stability, not comfort. A samurai does not ride, he commands from horseback. The bannermen gather. Each flag tells a story written in symbols older than the men who carry them. Red silk against grey sky. The colours are not decoration, they are identification, a promise, a warning. Each clan has its symbol. The Tokugawa hollyhock, the Oda butterfly, the Takeda diamond. These are not logos, they are lineages made visible. The conch shell horn sounds, Horagai. The signal is primal, it bypasses thought and speaks directly to the spine. The march begins in silence, 300 men, 300 heartbeats, temporarily synchronized. Their footsteps create a rhythm, not music, but something older. The sound of inevitability approaching. The forest path is narrow. Bamboo on both sides forms a living corridor. The wind through bamboo sounds like whispered warnings. Bamboo bends but does not break. The samurai aspire to the same quality. Flexibility within structure, strength through yielding. A hawk circles overhead. It does not care about human conflict, it hunts because it is hungry. There is a purity to this the samurai recognize. Rain begins, not as drops, but as a presence. The armor darkens, the leather absorbs, everything becomes heavier. The rain is cold, it finds every gap in the armor, every weakness in the construction. Rain is the enemy's ally. It weighs down everything. But they do not stop. To stop is to acknowledge discomfort, and discomfort is merely information, not a command. There is a bridge, wood so old it has turned grey. Beneath it, water that has been running for 1,000 years, and will run for 1,000 more. The bridge creaks. Each plank tests the weight of history. Some planks are new, repairs made after the last army crossed. Crossing takes 17 minutes. Each man waits for the one before. Patience is a tactical virtue. On the opposite bank, they wait. The enemy is a mirror, the same armor, the same training, the same belief that death is preferable to dishonor. Two armies, same island, same language, same gods, but different lords. And loyalty is absolute. The generals meet in the middle of the bridge. Protocol demands this. They will exchange formal declarations. Then, they will try to kill each other. The words are formulaic, by order of, in defense of. The content doesn't matter. What matters is that the forms are observed. Civilization, even here. For 7 minutes, no one moves. This is not hesitation. This is consideration. Each commander calculating the mathematics of mortality. 300 men on each side. By evening, perhaps 100 will remain. These are acceptable numbers, acceptable losses. The order comes not as a shout, but as a breath. A single word that releases 300 fates. The word is susume, advanced, simple, final. The charge is not fast. It is methodical, each step deliberate. The discipline holds even as chaos approaches. The war cry builds. Ay, ay, ay. Not words, but punctuation marks. Exclamation points for violence. The first arrows fly, whistling death. A samurai does not flinch. To flinch is to dishonor your training. An arrow strikes armor. Sometimes it penetrates, sometimes it glances off. The sound is different for each outcome. Steel meets steel. The sound is not clean. It is industrial. The screech of metal on metal, the crack of wood, the wet thud of impact. The katana cuts through bamboo in demonstrations. In battle, it cuts through bone. The physics are the same. The meaning is different. Yari spears thrust in formation. Pike walls that even cavalry cannot penetrate. The longer weapon always has advantage. Until it doesn't. Inside the spear range, the sword is king. Distance determines weapon. Tactics determine distance. A warrior falls. His final act is to grasp his sword tighter. Even in death, the form must be maintained. The mud is red now, not purely, but tinged, as if the earth itself is blushing at what it witnesses. Wounded men do not cry out. This is not stoicism. This is training. Pain is private. Death is public. A horse screams. This is allowed. Animals are not bound by Bushido. Their fear is honest. The battle is decided not by strength, but by a single miscalculation. One commander commits his reserve too early. The geometry collapses. A flank collapses, not from cowardice, but from mathematics. Too few men holding too much line. Numbers are honest. The commander sees this. He makes a decision. He will personally plug the gap. This is either heroic or suicidal. History will decide. 7 men follow him, his personal guard. They have trained together for 15 years. They will die together in the next 2 minutes. The charge breaks the enemy advance for 30 seconds. Then, mathematics reasserts itself. The commander is surrounded. He fights with the efficiency of a machine. Each cut finds its target, but there are always more targets. Victory and defeat are separated by seconds, by inches, by a decision made in the space between 2 heartbeats. The horn sounds retreat. Not surrender, but acknowledgement. The losing army withdraws in formation. Discipline, even in defeat. The victors do not pursue. This is protocol. A cornered army fights with desperation. Better to let them leave and claim the field. The survivors do not celebrate. They perform a different ritual now. They collect their dead, each body treated as if it were made of glass. A young samurai finds his father among the dead. He does not weep, not here, not now, later, in private, perhaps. The armour is removed from the bodies. It will be cleaned and reused. This is not disrespect, this is practicality. Metal outlasts flesh. The rain continues. It will wash away the blood by morning. But the names will be recorded, written in careful calligraphy, preserved. This is what remains, not the victory, not the territory gained, but the record that on this day, these men chose their fate. As night falls, fires are lit, not for warmth, but for guidance, so that the spirits of the fallen can find their way home. Buddhist monks arrive. They will chant through the night. The sutras are for the dead, and for the living who must continue carrying their names. The code they lived by, Bushido, demanded perfection in every action, even the action of dying. Seppuku is not punishment. It is completion, the restoration of honor, a mathematical equation that balances itself through blood. This is not suicide, this is completion. The final brushstroke on a painting that began at birth. The Kaishakunin stands ready. His role is mercy. One perfect cut that prevents suffering. The ultimate act of friendship. He has practiced this cut 10,000 times, on straw, on bamboo, never on a friend, but the technique is identical. In the moment before, there is peace, not happiness, not resignation, but a kind of mathematical certainty. The equation is complete. By morning, the field is empty. Nature reclaims what was briefly interrupted. Grass will grow here, children will play, the earth forgets. A farmer finds a helmet. He will sell it, or melt it, or bury it. the object remains, but its meaning evaporates like morning dew. But in temples across Japan, the names are chanted, morning and evening, a liturgy of the fallen, memory as a form of immortality. The samurai believed that a perfect death could redeem an imperfect life, that the final moment contained all moments. This is not a story about war, it is a story about aesthetics. The belief that how one dies is more important than how one lives. Cherry blossoms fall for 1 week each year, then they are gone. The samurai saw themselves in this. Beauty is always temporary. We in our time have lost this. We treat death as failure, as something to be prevented, hidden, denied. The samurai saw it differently. Death was not the opposite of life. It was the punctuation mark that gave life its meaning. And so they practiced, every day, the art of the perfect ending. They knew something we've forgotten, that discipline is freedom, that limitation creates possibility. In the 21st century, we have infinite choices, and we are paralyzed. The samurai had no choices, only duty. And within that limitation, they found elegance.